Well, now that we've upgraded our infrastructure to the point that we can accomplish it before the heat death of the universe, it might be a good time to build a nuclear reactor. We don't have nuclear craft in this pack, sadly, because it doesn't exist for 116. So we have bigger reactors, which is more or less either a fork or a recreation of the old big reactors mod. There's also the Extreme Reactors mod, which is not in this pack. I chose the Bigger Reactors mod instead, mainly because it's supposed to be a little less laggy. But other than that, it's the same basic idea. Let's make up a list of what we need. We need the reactor terminal, which I think is basically the controller. We need fuel rods. We need control rods. Casing, we need an access port. Maybe. Yes. We need a power tap. Get power in and out. I think that's the basics to get us started. We need graphite, which we get by smelting charcoal or coal. Charcoal's cheaper. We'll do it that way. Yeah, our assemblers are almost full. We need to do a slight detour here. So before we do anything else, let's program the system to make P2P terminals. And what do you know? I want to make patterns. We don't have enough materials for that either. We just have some iron ready to smelt. And where do I leave the pulverizer? That's not it, that's not it, that's not it, that is it. Let's do this just to get some more quartz dust going. One of the things we want to make is some dense cables, which I think I've covered before. Basically, a dense cable is 4 regular cables in one, so it can transmit 32 channels instead of 8. And it's made of covered cable, which we have a few options for. The standard formula is wool. Wool plus cable equals covered cable. But I've added a couple options. You can use either industrial foregoing plastic or thermal rubber. I think I'll go with the thermal expansion rubber for no other reason than the old watering can the cotton plant joke has been played out. So we can make rubber from either vines or dandelions, or latex, which we get from vines or dandelions. I went and got a bunch of vines, that's handy. Just going to use the assembly halo to make this a little bit easier. Can also be handy to make dense smart cable by adding some redstone and glowstone to it. And that will tell you how many cable, or how many channels are running through the cable. I'm going to make 2 P2P tunnels. Let's make a memory card to program them with. And let's get some interfaces brewing. Now, the way a P2P works is, you slap one end on something, and you slap one on the other end of something, and you program them, and it will connect one end to the other using only the channels used by each of the P2Ps. So let's take the output of this P2P and just send it right back into the system. So now it's taking the 32 channels coming out of this face of the controller, compressing it down into a data stream, and sending it into the ME system at large. Which means we can take another P2P, pull that data stream back out, and get 32 channels out of the other end. Basically, it connects this to this. So now we have to program it in order to link the two. So Shift right-click that. Memory card's programmed. Right-click this. And this one is now linked to this one. So now, if I just stick a cable like that, these should work like they did before, except now they're being connected through a P2P. And yes, there they all are. But now there's 32 channels coming out of here instead of just 8. So, we can stick a dense cable on here and run 32 channels out of it instead of the 8 that we could have run out of this playing wire here. Upside of that is, I can stick another 8 interfaces on here. Now, if I put an interface here, it will connect to this wire, which will not work because this wire is already carrying 8 channels. So I'm just going to stick a cable anchor, like so. That will prevent the interface from connecting to the cable. Now if I plonk another cable down here, that'll run another 8 channels to this set of interfaces. And since it's coming out of a dense cable and not connected to this limited 8-channel wire, it works. That's terribly explained. So now if I look at my interface terminal, I should see... Yes, I have 8 brand new rows of space for recipes. And also, since I'm only using one channel on this wire, to run the P2P, I could use this cable for other useful things, like maybe putting an interface on this plate press that I made. Could be useful at some point. So now that we've done that, let me go insert all of these patterns that I just programmed. So we're going to make the basic nuclear reactor, which is a 3x3x3. So we're going to need one terminal, one access port, one power tap, one control rod, one fuel rod, and the other 22 blocks will be reactor casings. Now we're going to need a place to put it. Let me just do this. Now the slightly awkward thing is, I need to access some of these sides, so embedding it in the wall may not actually work very well. So here's what the basic idea is going to be. We're going to have a wire frame, kind of like this. We have a control rod in the top, a fuel rod below it. We'll have a terminal on one face. We'll have power tap on one face. We'll have the access port on one face. And that should be it, yes. Now the power tap, we can very easily run some Ethernet cabling in the wall to deal with. Stick a facade in so it looks nice. Now the other thing is, we need access to this side. Because this here is how you put fuel in. That said, could run a wire from it and just pipe fuel in with a chest. Might be what we do here. Now these ports can also be used to output waste from the reactor, which we're going to have to do at some point. In fact, we're probably going to have to create another access port to pull the waste out. For now, let's just do this. And I forgot I'll need another connector. That was dumb. That was dumb. That was dunderheaded. So now, if I put uranium in here, this thing's now fully fueled. If I turn it on, it'll start generating energy. And just like that, we've generated enough energy to half fill up this power cell here. Well, now that we've got some power upgrades, we can finish upgrading these machines. 4, 6, 7. 7 mechanism machines I'd like... No, 8. 8 mechanism machines I would like to upgrade. Because I want 32 of each of these upgrades. Ew. Ew. Well, it's a good thing we have a digital miner. And I'm just going to smack these out for now. Don't think I need them at the moment. Plunk. And off you go. Start mining some more irons. Funny enough, we have more gold than we do iron. And look at that, we're hurting for power. Funny that. Let's start using your power. I think we may be having an issue that this cube cannot transmit power fast enough. Well, why don't we smack this cube out, put this one in, which has more transmission capacity. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, generation is starting to slow down because we've actually used up the uranium, or started to. It's now got waste products in it that we need to pull out. Let's start shoveling the energy upgrades in. That will help a little bit. Shovel, 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 shovel. Let's start upgrading these, so shovel. That's all of a sudden a lot faster. Shovel, that's all of a sudden a lot faster. Let's get ourselves another access port. Oh, we're out of here. Oh, it's all in the right. Let's get a connector first. Let's grab 1 bit of uraniums. Break this out. Put another access port in. Our stored power is still there, which is nice. Let's go, first of all, set it to output waste. And plonk that there. And plonk, whoop, plonk that. Plonk that. And plonk that. And let's fill up all this space. And now, let's connect this access port to our outputs port. And that should, yes, that pulled the waste out and put it directly into the ME system. I believe it's called cyanite. Yes, cyanite. It has uses. You can use it to make turbine parts, but also with the cyanide reprocessor, you can recycle some of it to get fuel. And we'll hold off until we actually have a decent amount of it before we do that. And one last set of upgrades. We've installed basic factory upgrades into these, which lets it do 3 things at a time. We can also install advanced upgrades, which lets it do 5 things at a time. We can do the elite upgrades, which lets it do 7 at a time. And then finally, and this is new to the 1.16 version, This was not in 112. At least not for factory machines. You know, the ultimate upgrade, which can do 9 things at a time, which is mental. No, fuck you.